If you want Alabama to find some cornerback help in the transfer portal, then like today's show, we'll send the good vibes out there because Alabama needs to find some help at the quarterback room in the transfer portal. Today we're looking at 11 different corners in the On3 transfer portal rankings because I think they've got the best ones out there. After the departure most recently of Tony Mitchell, another player hopping in the portal yesterday evening. The rumored one did end up coming true. The Alabama defensive backfield has undergone some of the most significant shuffling I can recall a position group having that isn't just like, one or two players deep like a quarterback room can be. The defensive backs off to the NFL, all three drafted. Terrion Arnold, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Jalen Key. Not one, not two, not three, but 10 defensive backs have entered into the portal between when Nick Saban left and everything else in between. Antonio Kite goes to Auburn. Caleb Downs, one that really hurts, goes to Ohio State. Des Ricks transfers again, or transfers to Texas A&M, I should say. Earl Little Jr. goes to Florida State. Jake Pope goes to Georgia. Jameer Grimsley leaves quickly, goes to Florida. Christian Story's off to Kentucky. Peyton Woodyard and Tony Mitchell are now in the portal. Their destinations TBD. Trey Amos, who was cornerback 3 on the outside, transferring in from Louisiana, now goes to Ole Miss. And there's one guy that played snaps that matter for Alabama on this defensive backfield depth chart from last year. That's Malachi Moore. Imagine if he hadn't turned, if he had turned pro, like so many of us thought he was going to go. They've added transfers already in guys like Damani Jackson, Keon Sabb, and Howard to help out mostly the safety room. The cornerback spot is truly unproven. And it is, of all the spots on this roster, the one that gives me the most concern. And I also get why some of the guys left. Defensive backs came to Alabama to play with the best defensive backs coach in history in Nick Saban. Sorry, Bill Belichick, I guess. It hurts. You got to find some help here. So how many defensive backs remaining does Bama need to pick up in the portal? Is it 0? Do you feel great about the room anyway? Is it 1, 2? Sound off for me in the comments section. Now, of note, a couple visits are already scheduled. Dashawn Jones, the Wake Forest transfer, is set to visit this weekend, along with Isaiah Hamilton, the Houston transfer. Dashawn Jones played a decent amount for Wake Forest. A little high on the yards, a little high on the touchdowns allowed. Did pick off a couple nice passes there with not that many other just pure pass breakups, by the way. But he's played snaps, and that's going to be a refrain you hear a lot from me. I got to get somebody who's played snaps. And Isaiah Hamilton played even more snaps last year than Dashawn Jones did. Obviously, some different-ish level of competition there. Okay on the targets, not as great on the yards. A lot of good interceptions, 4 of them, plus some pass breakups mixed in there. 2 names to very clearly monitor for Alabama football, Isaiah Hamilton and Dashawn Jones. You got to get some pieces in there. You need bodies that have played snaps at the Power 5 level, or at least the college football level. Speaking of the college football level, and the rank you see, by the way, is where they rank in the On3 transfer portal, and they like D'Angelo Pons, the defensive back, last at James Madison. Really good production. And you're allowing under a 50% completion rate, 30 to 66, under, well less than 10 yards per catch allowed, and way less on the targets allowed there as well. 3 TDs, 2 interceptions, 10 pass breakups. Maybe 15 is a wee bit high for D'Angelo Pons, the Duke, or the Dukes, I guess, whatever you want to call it there. Seen Michigan kind of sort of linked to him as well. I think that was more speculation than anything. Freshman All-American honors this year for James Pons. It's a good name to monitor, even if it is a massive jump in competition. Cormani McClain. Now, we'll see if Deion Sanders starts taking shots at him publicly as well. He is back in the transfer portal. Sounds like Utah has been linked to him. At least, again, it's a lot of speculation stuff from that perspective there. Was it Colorado? Basically got benched after being a 5-star recruit and trying to go to Deion Sanders. Trying to be the next Travis Hunter. Didn't work out too well for him. Javion Cole, the San Jose State defensive back. Again, the 33rd overall in the portal. Another player that we think is worth mentioning, Auburn has a visit with him. Texas has a visit with him. He has played both Cal Poly and at San Jose State in his brief time in college football. I think Michigan State's also hosting him. Some good Power 5 interest, and he played very well last year for San Jose State. The numbers do not lie there. Good player that this team should be at least looking at, because you've got to find bodies, man. Anthony Johnson Jr. is in the portal. That is the Western Kentucky defensive back, not the Packers player of the same name, which I think could cause some issues because he's also a defensive back, by the way. I almost decided to be funny and put Anthony Johnson Jr., the Packers player, on there. I thought that was going to be too mean. Played really well for Western. We talked about him previously. 4 interceptions, 5 pass breakups, under 50% completion percentage. Was one of the highest graded players in college football last year at cornerback by PFF, if you value that. He's only 80th, though. Again, maybe CFB teams lower on him than PFF is, but we are trying to do things here. So we are reaching some small school players, including but not limited to Trayshawn DeVones. He took a visit to Notre Dame a couple weeks ago. So again, a player that has interest at the top of the levels in college football. He played a ton of snaps. He's got more snaps, I think, outside of Malachi Moore than every single Alabama defensive back on the roster. And it not quite doubled, but we're getting a little bit close to it there, I believe. Okay completions, targets. Didn't get beat for that many touchdowns. Touch high on the yards, but again, not that bad from a completion percentage. Did break up some passes as well. Again, the further along we get in the portal rankings, the less intrigued I am by some of these guys. Now, if you want to get the rookie jersey for the latest Alabama to NFL pipeline player, you can do so. J.C. Latham, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and more. Of course, Jalen Key is available. All the great Bama products now off to the NFL. Chris Braswell, Dallas Turner, they are available. Get yours today at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. You might have to search once you go there to find it, or at least adjust the filters and the drop downs. But the rookie jerseys are available. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. It's chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Kikora Tarnui, I think that's how that's pronounced, out of Jacksonville State, 196 overall in the portal. Again, a little over 600 snaps for the Jacksonville State product. 263 yards, did not allow a touchdown. 3 interceptions, 3 pass breakups. He was he was the interception leader for the Gamecocks last season. Believe he was initially from Liberia, so he's had a very unique path to college football. It was obviously their first FBS season. I thought he held up pretty decently. Now, we are launching the May sub-battle against the Michigan Football Report. Let's make sure we smoke them this May. I'm not sure how much James is going to be doing stuff there, so we have the advantage. Hit that sub button for more free Alabama football YouTube videos. Torrey Cox Jr., the Ohio transfer player. I believe... No, sorry, that's somebody else, my bad. I think he's got some connections to Pitt family-wise. This is a player who was a hybrid player for Ohio. And I think for a lot of the guys at this point on the list, just to be honest with you, I'm actually not that interested. These are outside the top 200. I didn't think he was that. I mean, I'm an Ohio grad. I watched Ohio not have great success relative to other teams this year, especially against Miami. I would probably pass on him. Zaire White out of USC. Again, USC, big-time program, right? Kind of basically didn't play as much. Let's put it that way. He was a little late to enter the portal. Like, he kind of wasn't doing anything down to last fall. I wasn't really sure what was going on there. This, by the way, I will say, is still one of the more intriguing players to me in the portal. You might have seen him before. He played one of LeBron James's kids in Space Jam 2. He is also an actor. That's this kid. Remember him? You guys remember him? Yeah, right? Now you see it. Chris is just now realizing it too. He's back in the portal. I honestly, I kind of think that, like, his best career path is probably going to be as an actor. He's done a lot. Like, I'm not even being mean. He's done a lot of that stuff. I think he was in Grownish for a little bit as well. Like, yeah, that's who Sair White is. He was the one who I'm gonna pull up his because we can do it here and we can afford to. His film credits there. But yeah, he was the one of the kids in Space Jam, which is kind of crazy to think about from that perspective. Other things he has been in beyond. He's been in Training Day, I believe at that the new one, the TV series one. He's done other stuff, Grownish, but he was in Space Jam, A New Legacy with LeBron. He's one of LeBron's kids. Kind of funny. Didn't play much this past year for USC. Probably not the best football player to be adding, frankly. Nakia Martinez, 284 overall. I remember not being as high touted because he had to skip a bunch of camps because he was doing auditions that whole time frame there. Nakia Martinez, 284 overall in the portal. Played a bunch for Central Florida. I would argue maybe didn't play that great. Again, 70-plus completion percentage stuff there. Maybe more of a safety than he ends up being a defensive back, or maybe can do some nickel stuff for you. As things got deeper in, besides the Space Jam lore we got to, it's a little bit thin. You probably want to get one of those top 100 guys. Name a player who you want to get from the transfer portal. Sound off for me in the comments section right now.